Anyone who's familiar with my videos knows that I've been very critical of the modern day variants of feminism, most of which seem far less geared towards gender equality than they are towards bitching about things that are supposedly offensive to women. It's basically a strategic search for things that women can whine about in culture. That seems to be the new feminism. Like, oh, this movie portrays women in this fashion, which we no longer like, so this movie is bad, and it's sexist, and it's misogynist, and it's evil, and no one should watch it. And then people like me say, well, maybe that movie is not sexist. Maybe you're just perceiving it wrong because you have this crazy ideological bias. And the response of feminists to that sort of thing is always, well, you can't talk because you are a male. You're a white male, you know nothing of the oppression that women have suffered, and therefore shut your fucking mouth, unless you're going to support feminism, in which case then you can talk. So imagine if any other fucking group of people or any other kind of person tried to use this logic that unless you've experienced this kind of stuff firsthand, you can't talk about it. Imagine if a murderer turned to his jury and said, well, you guys don't know what it's like to be a murderer. You don't know what it's like to take another human life. How dare you judge me? Now, obviously, feminism and murder are not on the same level. I mean, feminism's way worse. Just kidding! But let's just think about this idea for a minute that as a man, I'm not allowed to talk about feminism. Feminism wants to change our culture. It wants to make feminism itself the default lens through which we view any sort of gender issues. It wants us to accept that there is such a thing as patriarchy in this country. It wants us to accept that there is such a thing as rape culture in this country. It wants us to accept a lot of things that I don't feel are true. But I'm not allowed to not feel those things are true because I am a man. Even though there are plenty of women who agree with me, they don't count because they're just brainwashed by the patriarchy and only feminists know the truth. And if you're not going to speak the feminist truth, then you're not allowed to speak at all. And if you do ill-advisedly choose to speak, you will be labeled a misogynist, you will be labeled a sexist, you will be called every fucking name in the book. If there's one thing I've learned making countless anti-feminist videos, it's that feminists do not like to argue their points. If you criticize them, they're going to just come back with personal insults every time, invariably. I've never once had one advance any argument towards me. That is fucking insane to me. Because I'll go after crazy creationist Christians, and even they will try to bring some sort of argument, but not feminists. Feminists are just like, well, you don't know because you're fucking fat, and you're stupid, and you're ugly, and you shoved a banana in your butt, so you're wrong. And that's just the way it is because we're feminism, and we get to decide what the truth is, and that's final. And isn't it funny that when they want to elicit sympathy, they're the oppressed, the victimized. Oh, woe is me, I am the oppressed victim of society. But then, when you go after them, all of a sudden they're like, hey, you're not allowed to say that. I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to say that? So, how did you go from this meek, oppressed person to this person who is now presiding over me and telling me what I'm not allowed to say? I guess your guys' quote-unquote oppression slips off as easily as a sports coat, and you hang it in the corner until you need it again. Ain't that right? Let me make something fucking clear. I believe in women's rights. I believe women have the right to choose. I believe that a woman can do any job a man can do just as well as a fucking man can do it. I believe that women are just as important as men. I don't think that there's any sort of fucking... There's nothing in my mind that tells me that men are better than women or that women are better than men. I think that you judge people based on their individual fucking qualities. You don't fucking bring gender into it. You don't bring race into it. You don't bring all this bullshit into it. You just look at a person, what they can do, what's in their fucking mind, what they can accomplish, what their skill level is. That's how I fucking judge people. Alright? So you want to call me a fucking sexist? You want to call me a misogynist? You want to try to make that line of bullshit stick? Be my fucking guest. But everyone on this goddamn planet that has an open mind and is actually looking at what's going on knows that you're full of fucking shit. Okay? You're full of fucking shit. I'm TJ Kirk, better known as the Amazing Atheist. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, comment on this video, rate this video, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. I've got a new book out. It's called The Douchebag Bible. It is a compilation of my 3 major books, which are Scumbag, Musings of a Subhuman, In Defense of Evil, Why Good is Bad and Bad is Good, and Neckbeard Uprising, all contained within this one handy-dandy volume. So buy that below.